Hi. Today I want to talk about Mary and Martha. I know everybody seems to have an opinion about Mary and Martha, but today I want to go to the Word and I want us to look at the opinion that Jesus had of Mary and Martha. So I'm going to begin reading in Luke chapter 10, verse 38. While they were traveling, he entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary, who also sat at the Lord's feet and was listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by her many tasks, and she came up and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to serve alone? So tell her to give me a hand." The Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has made the right choice, and it will not be taken from her." Back in the days of Mary and Martha, it was customary for the woman to be the servant in the home. That was her role. So when guests came in, they just got to work, working on the details, making sure everything behind the scenes was done to make sure your guest was taken care of and comfortable. And so I'm sure when they heard that Jesus was coming, he was their friend. He was a friend of their family, and they knew who he was. And this was no ordinary guest. This was a very important guest to them. And so I'm sure that Martha may have even tried to go above and beyond, to make sure that that her hospitality, was shown towards him. And so when she's, doing her job in the kitchen and she looks in and sees Mary, just hanging out in the living room with Jesus, I'm sure that rattled her cage. And it rattled her to the point that she went and she even complained to Jesus, "Tell her to help me," is basically what she was saying. And Jesus was very quick to tell Martha that Mary had chosen the right thing. "Martha, what you're doing is, I'm assuming at the time it wasn't the appropriate thing to be doing. He was there teaching, and she should have been sitting alongside Mary at the feet of Jesus, listening and spending time and being in his presence. That is the one thing that matters to Jesus. It's still the one thing that matters to Jesus. God has not changed. He is the same today as he was the day that Jesus sat in the living room of Martha. He's the same. He wants the same. He desires the same things from us, just to spend time in his presence. That's these events are recorded in the Bible for us to learn from, to be encouraged by. They're also in there so that we can learn who Jesus is. And he makes it very clear. This is one of the events that is very clear to us what is important to Jesus. And so, today our distractions are probably, I would say, even more than they were back in the day of Mary and Martha. We have so many things in the world. The standard of the world, for us is so different and so distracting in today's times. But that one thing is still what matters to Jesus. That has not changed. No matter what changes in the world, that one thing, that very important thing, is still important to Jesus. And so, when we allow these things of the world to distract us, the enemy uses that to put a barrier, in between us and that one thing. And we have to not do that. We have to be very aware and very conscious of, the strategies of the enemy to use those things, and for us not to allow them to come in and distract us from being in the presence of Jesus, learning who he is, just allowing him at times to just minister to us. I believe that he desires to do that to us, and we get so busy with these everyday things and the behind the scenes and all those things that we miss that ministering of the Holy Spirit in our lives. And we just need to take a breath, just sit back in the living room and be in the presence of Jesus, just hanging out with him. That's what he desires of us, and that should be what we desire for ourselves from him. And so today I just pray for you. I encourage you, as I encourage myself, to consciously make that decision, make that choice to make those times, to spend those times with Jesus. And, those other things can go. Those other things are not important. Earthly things will come and earthly things will go, but our relationship with Jesus, our time with him, is very precious. And so that's my prayer for you today. And I pray that you have a very blessed and very encouraging day with Jesus today in the living room.